you are going to be Dr. Alex George, not of the medicine world, but of the decorating world.
Colour world.
Are you ready?
I will soon find out.
Yes, exactly. We will find out.
If it goes badly, we can always edit it out. Lovely.
Just blame us. I'm sure it'll be fine.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Let's Colour podcast. I'm Marianne Shillingford.
And I'm Steph King. And we are here today recording an incredibly fantastic episode, I have to say. Starting the year with a proper bang, because we have an incredible guest with us today, Dr. Alex George.
Dr. Alex George. I have a list of Dr. Alex George's amazing achievements. He's an ambassador for mental health and well-being, author of best-selling book Live Well Every Day, Instagram influencer with a zillion followers, fellow podcaster with his hugely popular waiting room, founder of Prescribed, a store where you can buy amazing, environmentally friendly self-care pampering goodies. I bought some stuff the other day, amazing. And all-round lovely guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you said it's going to be a good episode of the podcast. We'll see.
Hopefully
so.
Hopefully
pressure.
I can do all right. No pressure. I feel
No
fresh as
pressure.
well. Thank you for having me.
It'll
So-
be absolutely
A
fun.
lovely introduction.
Absolutely.
Goodness me, thank you.
Everyone, it's Dr. Alex George, the one and only.
Yeah, that was a 6 out of 10. That cheer.
6
Thank you
out of
very
10.
much.
All
I'm
right.
very
I
happy.
thought,
I'll
fine,
take that.
Fine.
I'll take
okay,
that.
I think 6 out of 10. And it'd be weird if I didn't say it, but can I mention Love Island?
You can.
And of course, Love Island contestant back in the day. My favourite episode, my favourite one, of course.
Oh, gosh,
So
it feels a
how
long time
could
ago
we
now.
not? How could
Feels
we
a
not
long
mention
time.
that?
Especially after the year we've had, it feels a million miles away now, doesn't it? I think it was 2018. It feels like
Gosh, look
2008.
how long ago it was. So I should tell people what's coming up on today's episode.
You
Just before
should
we get in and
absolutely
get
do that.
so excited to chat, I should let everyone know that, shouldn't I? So
Yes.
coming up on today's episode, we are of course going to talk to Dr. Alex George, who we will now call Alex from now on,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it feels very
Please,
formal
please,
to call him
please. Yeah,
Dr. Alex
definitely
all the
Alex,
time.
yeah. It's like
So
a
we
DJ
will-
name, really. It's just
It-
like it's,
yeah, you should
in a
do that
hospital,
as
no
well.
one calls each other doctor, really. You know, we all call us first name, but in the outside world, it's more formal. So
Well, you know, it's very exciting to
I
meet an
insist
actor,
on
You're in
being
my
called.
isn't
head.
it?
Yeah, I
Do you?
insist
You
on being
have any
called.
go?
Yeah, Dr. Dulux. I have to be called Dr. Dulux. People have to sort of like, bow a little bit.
On the
Yeah,
Zoom
absolutely.
calls. Oh, hi, Dr.
Absolutely.
Dulux. Yeah, absolutely. That's how it goes. So coming up on today's episode, we are, of course, going to talk to Alex all about being our Colour of the Year ambassador for
Thank you.
2022,
Thank
which
you.
we're very excited about. And really what we want to talk to you about, of course, is why this partnership was really important to you. And, of course, why it's really important to us as well. So we're really excited to kind of talk more about that. After we've done that, we are going to get deep into well-being. You're going to give us your top tips and everything that you've kind of learned over the past few years.
In 20 minutes.
Going to hear everything that we have to talk about well-being and how to kind of bring some of those positive effects of colour into your home. Then, of course, we're going to get hands-on. Going to get hands-on with colour, which sounds scary, but don't be scared. We'll be really good, won't we? And we're going to talk all about colour scheming. Going to talk about the theory of colour, and hopefully help you on your decorating journey here in your new flat.
Yes, please help.
And then my most favourite part of the podcast, we are going to do a Dr. Dulux segment, which is where we, of course, take our real listener questions, and you are going to be Dr. Alex George, not of the medicine world, but of the decorating
Decorating colour world.
Are you ready?
I will soon find out.
Yes, exactly. We will find out.
If
and
it
then,
goes
of course,
badly, we can always edit it out. Lovely.
just blame us. I'm sure it'll be fine. So we should kind of really get cracking then, shouldn't we, really? So what we want to talk to you about, of course, first is you. Tell us a little bit more for those listeners or viewers that might not have come across Alex George before. Who is Alex George?
Yeah.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Alex George. So my background is that I'm a doctor. I have worked for quite a few years in Lewisham Hospital as an A&E doctor. And I guess a lot of people know me maybe from Love Island 2018. And then afterwards, I guess, my work in mental health and well-being. And I think particularly what we're going to talk about today, I think it's more important than ever. I think the conversation around mental health has grown massively. I think that's a good thing. And I feel proud and very fortunate in many ways to be, part of that conversation, I hope, in this country, and trying to bring us forward into where we should be and the approach that we have towards mental health and making it, I guess, a priority alongside physical health. That's my passion. I think that's what I want to keep kind of banging the drum about.
Alex, you have just been announced as our Dulux Colour of the Year 2022 ambassador. We are hugely excited and proud that you've said yes. Tell us, why is it important to you to be involved in this?
Well, thank you, first of all. You know, it really is an honour, and I know it's a big thing. It's 19 years you've been doing it? A long time anyway.
Yeah.
20 this year.
So,
Yeah.
so thank you so much. And I'm very excited because of clearly it's the bright skies, it's the blue. And I've got two favourite colours, green and blue. The green very much because that link to nature. The blue for me is an optimistic colour. I've been doing for many years this blue heart on Instagram, which I put along quotes and things, or when I'm saying something that I really want to be positive and optimistic. And, you know, my audience come in and put blue hearts after, and I think we all understand that colour to be that bright, you know, the sky, that kind of, we can do this kind of feel, and that's why I love that colour. And I think we're painting by the stairs that lead up onto the terrace, and I think that blue kind of draws your eye up into the sky and thinking, you know, this is a really positive, and I love it. I think it's gonna be beautiful in my flat and make it feel very, very much at home, and goes into that feeling of peace and nature. I think the green and the blue match together beautifully.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and we cannot wait for everyone to see the final effects. Right? So you're going to be getting some hands dirty, and well, hopefully not too dirty. Your lovely new flat.
Well, hopefully main thing is I don't cock up the wall. I think that's the main thing. Get the wall.
I think it'll be just fine. There's a doctor here. Doctor of decorating.
Doctor here. I think
should be fine.
We'll be right. She can treat anything, I believe. So,
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
I love when looking at your Instagram and reading your bits from your book, and you're just so real.
Oh, thank you.
So real, and you bring something, a huge authenticity to the advice that you give. I feel like you're holding me by the hand, so I'm worried about something. I'll have a look. Alex, you've got a lovely way. How did you is this sort of doctor's bedside manner? Did you learn this, you know, when you're kind of like becoming a doctor?
I guess a lot of it is training. I think what I've tried to do, I think, you know, I'm not a consultant in A&E, for example, and I think being very real with people and honest about what you do know and what you don't know is very important. I think in the past, I think medicine as a whole has been very paternalistic, you know, we tell you what to do and you don't ask questions. And I think that the world has changed and people want to understand health, people want to be involved in health.
Yeah.
And they want to take control of it, and being honest about what we do and talk widely in medicine, what we do know and what we don't know is very important. We don't have all the answers for stuff, you know. So what I've tried to do is whenever I'm giving advice about health is be very honest. Look, I don't know everything, but this is the stuff that I do know. And it's like that with the whole pandemic with COVID. You know, we didn't know anything at the start. You know, I remember when I first saw the cases coming into Lewisham, and I think we pretty much saw one of the first few cases in Lewisham, and I believe we had one of the very first admissions as well. You know, we didn't know what was coming or how we'd manage. We had, you know, first principles, but this is a brand new variation of a virus we hadn't seen. So I think being honest with people was very important. A lot of the videos I was doing was on YouTube, particularly, was taking people into that setting and going, look, this is what's going on, you know, and this is the truth of what we're seeing, and we don't have all the answers. And I think as long as you're very authentic and honest with the audience, people then trust you. You know, and I've said before, I don't know the answer to that question, or I don't know the answer to this, and people then know that when I do say something, it comes from a place of me being confident and sure.
We had a chat the other week, gave you a ring, and one of the things we were talking about was that we've all been stuck inside our homes, and home is so important to the way we feel about ourselves, and how, you know, home has become, it's just become this incredible, almost battery place where we have to recharge and recuperate. And you talked about home as well, home being important for health and well-being. And I asked you what your favourite colours were, and for those who are watching this podcast, you will see that you are surrounded in greens and blues, the colours of nature. Yeah. I wanted to know how that made you feel. You know, why is that important to you? Why are these beautiful palettes of nature really important to you?
I think my upbringing, I was born in West Wales and very fortunate to live in the countryside. And I spent my childhood running around fields and tree houses and climbing things and playing with my brothers. And I think that connection with nature was throughout my childhood, and I found that place of calm and kind of peace in nature. And I think moving to the city, as soon as I came to London, I loved the place, but I quickly was like, wow, where's the nature? I need that nature. And I found myself drawn to the parks always and drawn to those kind of areas. Richmond, I spent a lot of my time in Richmond Park, and, you know, bringing that nature into my own home was very important. Green is my favourite colour, probably closely followed by blue for different reasons, but green, it is that colour of nature. And that's why we're sat on the sofa here that's green. You know, I have as many plants inside the place as I can. My bed is green. I just find it a very grounding colour. And I feel that it calms me, and I feel relaxed around that colour.
Green is right in the middle of the visual spectrum. And he says the colour that we find, it's the easiest colour to process visually. It's a receding colour, so it looks a little further away from you. So when you put it in a space, it makes the space look bigger. So it reconnects you with nature on an amazing level. And it's just the colour of calm and tranquility. Anybody who wears green, if there's a fire or something goes horribly wrong, follow them. They'll be
not the guy in the high vis
They'll
jacket.
be the
Don't follow
calm.
him.
No, people
Follow the one
people
wearing
in green.
green.
Everybody I've ever met who kind of likes green, they're just very tranquil human beings, and I do get the sense of beautiful tranquility with you.
Well, ideally, the fire steward would be wearing the reflective stuff and green t-shirt underneath.
There you go.
Then
That's
you're
what it
really
is.
onto
That's
it.
what it is. Don't follow me. I'm clearly not the person to follow.
I think this makes you the perfect ambassador for our colour of the year, bright skies. This blue and green, this kind of like the earth and sky together. And we've put it here in your flat on the wall over there. And I think that whole, it does literally look like fields and then the sky, but I'm getting all carried away. Alex, tell us, why is home so important to us? What does home mean to people? Why is it so important to us in terms of well-being?
Well, I think, our home is exactly that. It is our home. It's our place of safety. It's where we should wake up and feel calm and peace. And you start your day, from a place of feeling happy and okay, and I think creating and thinking about that when you're creating your space is super, super important. The pandemic has forced people to work at home. There are many benefits from working from home with your time and life balance with family and things like that, but actually there's a real risk that you can have that invasion of stress and work into your space that should actually be there for you to
Relax.
be at peace and be quiet and be calm. And I've actually had to work a lot from home for the last few years because a lot of my work when I'm not in the hospital is this hybrid working. And I found that real challenge of, oh gosh, what time is it? Oh gosh, I'm still working at 7, 8 o'clock, or, I haven't even gone outside for lunch, or, I'm sat on my sofa and I'm still typing away emails at whatever time. And I think I've learned over the last few years to kind of create that separation between work and home. And it's been so important for my mental health to know that when I'm relaxing, I'm relaxing. I mean, you guys will know this. I mean, you should never, work from your bed or revise from your bed, because your brain, on a very deeper level, thinks, well, hang on, is this the bed, or is this a space should be awake, or what am I doing in this space? That kind of cave concept of going back into the cave and sleeping in there, and then when the daytime you get out of your cave, and I think a lot of people working from home, they trouble sleeping, the body clock doesn't know what time of day it is. There's so many negative points to, I think, mixing it too much. So my flat isn't the biggest space, but I think creating, even if you've got the dining table as your workspace and your relaxing space as a sofa, I think creating that separation is important in time as well. What time is your working day start and end? When is your breaks? Treat it really strictly. Right, okay, it's hit 12 o'clock, time to go for a walk, let's get outside. Because I think the other point of working from home is how much time you get in daylight, how much natural light you're getting, because you're losing those little glimpses of walking to the bus or getting outside that you'd have light. And we know that from, in a scientific level, that morning light is very important to your circadian rhythm, your sleep cycle, because morning light, it triggers that the part of your brain that understands, right, that is morning, and therefore evening is evening.
Yeah.
And the melatonin, that whole cycle is triggered by that morning light. So if you're not leaving a flat and you're walking maybe from the bedroom to the sofa, you're not getting that vital part of your day. So there's so many things to think about. And that's why in the morning I get up, go for a walk first, come back, then I start my working day, and I get out again at lunchtime just to make sure I'm breaking that cycle.
I was chatting to somebody the other day about the power of colour to change the way we feel about stuff.
Yeah.
And every day we make a decision about what clothes we're going to wear. Actually, you Steph, you were going through bought a few clothes for today. I thought,
Just a
wear
few,
the lilac.
Yeah.
Nice, so it's
happy
kind of
colour,
like,
isn't it?
It's
So,
colour,
yeah.
it affects your mood, it affects everybody's mood. And I was chatting to somebody the other day. I hope they're not listening to this podcast as well. And she just got divorced. And while they lived in a flat together, their flat was all done to his style, and it was greys, and it was very kind of like urban and cool. And when he finally left, took all of his stuff, and she painted every room in a bright, bold colour. And in each room, she said, in every room, she just felt a lightness of being. She felt like her life was beginning again. She was starting a new chapter. She was using colour to express this sort of sense of freedom and a new beginning. And I think that's something we often overlook. Colour is one of the simplest things that we all enjoy. We choose food to eat by the way it looks.
Yeah.
But colour is so important to express yourself. And I love this idea of painting somebody out of your life. So anyway.
Well, I have a question for you. I wear, because colour of clothes, I guess, says a lot, doesn't it, as well? We were just talking about the lilac with the I wear a lot of black. So I believe, is it right in saying people do, why do people wear black? Is it like sinking black?
Now, black hides everything. So, Alex, what you're doing with the black is you're sort of saying, it's a very important colour. It's incredibly important. It's very mysterious. I mean, you think, priests and,
like that.
And So you would go to somebody in authority. You wouldn't really be able to work out exactly who they were, because that you're not giving anything away. So there's an element of mystery and sort of, authority in black, which I think is important. And also, black absorbs all light. So in a space, when we look at anything dark in a space, it leaps towards us. Right. So you're sort of drawing attention to yourself in a kind of subliminal way. You're saying,
I'm the opposite. I thought black would be like hiding away.
Kind of, it's you're hiding your personality, but you're also sort of stating a sort of importance in the space, a quiet authority. Don't mess with me.
Yeah. Well, either wear the black or wear like green like this. That's
well, you see, that's the softy. Use the softy side of you, Alex. That's the
James Bond one moment.
I like Alex. You come again.
Yeah. I think it's an air of mystery. I think it's kind of, you're not giving yourself away when you wear black.
So we're going to move away from colour, but we're going to come back to it later, so don't worry. However, I would love to hear a bit more about your top tips on self-care and well-being, because clearly you're an incredibly busy guy. And I'm really intrigued to know how you juggle everything, how you balance everything. You've touched on a few things that you personally like to do in your life to help you get that work-life balance. So if we were to press you for kind of your top 5 tips, what do you think they would be?
Well, I think it's the premise of the reason I wrote the book Live Well Every Day is like, I think we can all do little things each day that build up into a bigger picture of feeling of how you feel, and it's kind of, I guess it's almost like decorating a flat, isn't it? It's all the, you've got all the things that come together that give you this overall space and how you feel in that space. And I think sometimes we forget that with our health, that it's the little and often that really does make a difference.
Yeah.
So, I talked a little bit earlier about natural light. I mean, the first thing that we'll do in the morning is go outside, go for a walk.
Yeah.
When you move your body, blood flows to your brain. The blood flow to your brain helps brain processing, helps you wake up in the morning. It helps that concentration, that sense of positivity. Movement causes the release of endorphins. There's happy mood hormones that we release when we even go for a walk. The natural light, we get the vitamin D that we need. We also get that kind of trigger from the outside world that it's time to get up and start your day, and that connection again with nature, the wind in your face, the sound, even if it's raining, that kind of sense of like, I'm outside, I'm in the real world. And it's a cool time of year, and we're out in the cold, you can kind of feel really alive, and I think that's important. And I think then coming back, if you're working from home or whatever you're doing during this difficult time with this pandemic, I think it's looking at your day and thinking, how can I integrate those kind of little things that help me feel good? When am I going to have my movement today? Are you going to? I like to do a bit of exercise at the end of the day because it breaks up. It tells you kind of that's the end of my day, and it kind of release everything with that bit of exercise. I think during your day, thinking, when am I going to have these little mini breaks? Might be sit with a quiet bit of mindfulness. Might be sitting having a cup of coffee outside, or again a little walk. Or might be just listening to a bit of music. I think integrating these moments in the day of mindfulness are very, very important. The evening, we often talk about bookends of the day. So the start of the day, end of the day, very important. Having tech-free time, I think is vital. Really the first half an hour of your day, hour if you can, but realistically for most people, half an hour in the morning. If you can avoid just waking up and scrolling through your phone, turn the alarm off, get up, have your shower, get your coffee, let yourself get into your rhythm of the day. I always think in the morning, you're almost like the white ceiling, you're a blank canvas, aren't you? And you can be easily affected by the world. If you're on Instagram and see something that angers you on BBC News, why start your day in that way? Control your day, set the tone for your day. And when you're ready and you're up and dressed and you're ready for the day, then tackle the things on your phone.
Such a nice way of thinking about it.
Do your day, and then towards the end of the day, give yourself that space. I mean, science, we know from science and research that what we look at on our phones and what we look at the end of the day impacts our sleep and how we process information and the information that goes into our brain. So if you're scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, it may be funny stuff that you're watching or whatever, but that is all triggering these deep parts of your brain before you sleep. So really, you should have a digital free hour. Put that down, read a book, listen to some music, low light, turn the lamps on, maybe some candles, and really unwind. I started Prescribed the Bath Bomb Company because that's how I unwind in the evening. Chuck a bath bomb in, bit of music, and that process of heating the body, then getting out and cooling, triggers our brains to want to sleep. Cooling is great for sleep.
Okay.
That's why our bedroom should be cool.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, it makes sense in the evening, the cave times, in the evening it gets cold. And when it's cold, the brain knows that drop in temperature means it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Nighttime means time for sleep. So when you have the bath, you heat yourself up, you get out of that bath. The cooling process is like that mental trigger of, right, it's time to sleep. So if you combine that with low lights and a bit of reading, you'll sleep so much better. And I think we really do underappreciate how important sleep is for happiness.
Yeah.
Sleep is so important. And often people think of it as a sedative state, but actually your brain is so creative when you're asleep. And often the things and ideas you have in the daytime come from the time that you're asleep. And you don't even realize that's happening.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a time of just like switching off, you know, sleep when you're dead is wasted time. You know, that's not true at all. All this kind of creativity goes on, you know, when you're sleeping. And a few things as well, just generally, with sleep, alcohol doesn't help sleep at all. A lot of people think that alcohol is great for sleep. Unfortunately, it isn't. What alcohol does is it actually does sedate and depresses certain parts of the brain. So it prevents that natural REM cycle. So basically, you don't have quality sleep. And often people find an interesting one that people don't realise is sometimes when you've had a few glasses of wine and then the next night you have loads of vivid dreams, it's because you've suppressed that kind of part of processing for one night, and the next night you've
comes back with a vengeance almost.
You've got this hyperactive, overactive state, and that's why you can sometimes have quite disturbed sleep. So avoid the alcohol before bed with sleep if you want to sleep well, and caffeine as well. Caffeine is in your system 6 to 8 hours after you drink coffee. So I've actually now cut caffeine out after about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I sleep so much better.
Yeah.
So just the little things, and they don't sound like little things, and there's lots more. I could talk, you know, a lot more about it, but I think just start with the little things. Don't go for the big overhauls.
Yeah.
You know, it's like with diet. Don't overhaul your diet overnight. Yeah. Just look at the little things you can do and bring in a little bit of green. Look at your plate. Can I have a greener, more colourful plate of food rather than going restrictive? Health is not about restriction. Fuel your life.
I love your attitude that well-being and mental well-being is about self-care. It's about loving ourselves and giving ourselves the time and just spending. If we spent even a fraction of the time that we spent at work on ourselves, wouldn't we be amazing?
Well, look, I'm a big Formula One fan, and you know what would happen if these Formula One cars were just driven to the limit all the time? You didn't change the tyres, you put in rubbish fuel, you didn't take time to tweak the engine and things. What would happen? The wheels would fall off. You'd be be crashing the thing. It wouldn't win any races, would it? Yeah. So why do you expect to perform at a high level? And I think this is the point around schools is, you know, and I think we need more role models in life who are very honest about the fact that they self-care, that they appreciate sleep, that they invest in these things, because people forget the link. But actually, if you really invest in yourself, it'll come out tenfold in your work. And people often ask me, how do you do books and you do the TV, you do all these other things? Well, you know, I'm no different to anyone else. I am literally no different to anyone else, but I do see the value of that investment. Yeah. Because if I don't do those things, I know myself, my output and performance goes down. So I think I perform well because I do those things, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah, completely. It makes complete sense, doesn't it? And we just forget that, and we need reminding of that.
And also remembering that you can't do it all. I do go through times where I feel a bit I'm knackered, I can't be bothered today. Knowing when to, part of self-care is knowing when you need a break. And that's one of the things that most people aren't very good at. And I'm hands up, I'm bad at it. I'm an overworker. I'm bad at it, and I have to sometimes. And sometimes it's my girlfriend saying, "Do you know what? You're overworking." You're like, "Do you know what? You're right." And I take a break. Know when to stop. Yeah. Don't let the wheels fall off. Stop.
Absolutely.
Alex, you've already given us some amazing tips on well-being, so I thought I would give you some tips on decorating.
Well, they're very welcome, I'd say, in this place. So thank you very much.
We've already painted this beautiful stairway up to heaven. There's an incredible terrace in there, and bright skies is just like the sky. It's made this whole space seem really open. And earlier you were talking to me about tranquility, and there is nothing more tranquil than seeing a horizon line. So I thought what we would do, on top of bright skies, we would create a horizon line. So we're going to create this beautiful, tranquil sight line from your kitchen. So we're going to do it onto here, and we're going to use a colour called Denim Drift, which is the colour of the sea. So it's like a really lovely sort of inky sea colour. It's beautiful, beautiful. So we've got some really, really, really high-tech equipment we're going to use here. We're going to use a piece of chalk.
High-tech.
We're going to use a piece of string, and we're going to use some masking tape. We're going to create this horizon line onto here. Here's a piece of string. At one end, we've put a little knot. And then what I want you to do is to just pull that string over the chalk. So put your thumb over it and just pull it over the chalk. So it's going to load the string with chalk.
This is smart.
So if you hold that chalked string, right now I'm going to hold it really taut. Now what you're going to do is you're going to ping it.
Ping it?
Yep, you're going to pull it away from the wall and ping it.
Oh, no. Now that is very good. That is very good. I enjoyed that. Now that is a handy tip.
So the next tip is masking tape.
Yeah.
So if you take that, we're going to put that on the top of the line. So you pull that over to one end. There we are. Now another tip is stir the paint.
Okay.
Always stir your paint. So
why is that important?
It's really important because when a liquid is standing still, ingredients will settle to the bottom, and so you really need to stir it really, really well before you start. And it's so thick and creamy, this paint is beautiful. So give it a really good stir before you start.
It's actually quite therapeutic looking at that.
Look at this. I know, we talk about well-being. This is the only time, actually, I'm going to be quiet for just a minute while I watch this.
There's something about decorating on many levels. I think you're focusing on something as it's like the act of doing it, not just the result, isn't it? I think it's the process that's nice.
It is. And I think adding a bit of colour, we have a sort of mantra at work, and it's about adding colour to people's lives. And it doesn't just mean paint. Adding colour to somebody's life is about adding a good feeling, and you can paint that into you can really cheer yourself up with a bit of decorating because it's tangible. Yeah. Most of us are sitting at a computer all day, and at the end of the day, we're absolutely shattered, but we have nothing to show for it. When you're decorating, you've got something you can share with your friends.
It's art, really, isn't it? Art, piece of art.
And if you don't like it, you can paint over the top.
That's very true. God, it looks so nice as it goes. It smells like a velvet chocolate type thing, isn't it?
Oh, this is so satisfying.
Don't eat it, of course.
No,
who could say
absolutely
that?
Not.
But yeah,
there's something about that as well as like paint. When we describe colours, we often describe them as delicious, and it's a sensual experience. It's a sort of sensory experience.
Yeah. It is something about it that's quite soothing, isn't it? Yeah. When you're painting, you can only really focus. Well, if you're like me, you can focus on one thing. You're focusing on the painting, aren't you? It's actually really.
I think you lose yourself. You see where you've gone. You can see progress. It's a constant sort of visual reward for the effort that you've put in. Yeah. I mean, with decorating, it's all about the prep, and prep can be hard work. It's this bit that's the real icing on the cake when you're actually applying colour to the surface.
And straight to the wall. So would you say you're impatient, Marianne?
Yes.
Are you actually?
I am.
So I wouldn't have guessed. You're a creative person. I thought you'd be incredibly patient.
On certain things, yes. When something's going to be tricky, I have to think about it.
Okay.
I'm very patient, and generally very patient with other people's houses rather than mine.
Really?
Well, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, okay.
But I know this is going to work, so I'm confident that this is going to look fantastic. So, and also we're working together. So you're working ahead of me. This is a lovely job to do as a couple. You're kind of like, yeah, exactly. And one person can do, some people are good.
What if someone does it wrong, though?
Well, then you get them to do something else. Yeah. There's always tea to be made.
Yeah, yes, that is a very good point. My mum and dad always used to paint our family house together, and yes, there's certain bits that mum was allowed. Basically, the precision parts my mum did, and my dad did the more rolling bits, shall we say.
We have a thing in my house. My husband is a real perfectionist. He thinks I'm a terrible decorator. Because
what is it? What are his standards then?
I think I'm quite good.
I'd say you're all right.
He doesn't think I'm terribly good. I'm a bit messy sometimes, but I'm quite good. So, Alex, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm ready. I'm excited for this.
This is the bit I like best.
This is the moment of truth, isn't it?
This is the moment of truth. Okay, go on. I'll give you that honour.
Can I?
Yeah, go on. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, look at that. That is spot on, I would say. Goodness me, that's so
Isn't
clever.
That beautiful?
So there you go. When people ask, how do you get that straight line?
Yeah.
That's how you do it. God, that's impressive, isn't it? There's something quite therapeutic almost about this process. I mean, seeing this end result, but doing that was really, really fun, to be honest.
And it's perfect time to do it, in January, where we're just starting a new year. We're wanting to kind of refresh our lives in just to be able to face the new year, and then have these colours that are just tranquil, but energising, softly energising at the same time.
Yeah, and I think, January can be a difficult time for everyone. I mean, Christmas, we build it up a lot, and for some, actually, Christmas can be quite hard. And then you hit this January time where Christmas is done, the weather's cold, and maybe it's hard for some people to feel that kind of optimism, I guess, for many reasons, and particularly with everything going on. And I think this process, I guess, the process of decorating at home or painting, I think is a good thing to do for your mind, for well-being, and the end result, hopefully you look at colours that make you feel good and grounded, and that's why I like blue and like green. I guess they're quite grounding colours in many ways.
Yeah, they are.
Well, Doctor to Doctor, thank you so much for coming in and giving me so many amazing top tips, and, well, ultimately giving me this unbelievable wall. I'm really happy with it, and hopefully it'll be great, going into January now and the rest of the month, calm, relaxed, and just a good environment to be in my new flat.
So, seeing as we have you here, Alex, what we thought we would do, we'd love you to help. Yes. Actually, we're going to induct you into the world of Dulux today, and we're going to. One of the best questions that me and Marianne get, or Marianne and I get all the time, is you must name all of the colours, right? And we're like, oh, obviously, me and Marianne do it, and we come up with great ones all the time, which is completely untrue, by the way. We don't do that at all.
No, we do some of it.
Let's take the credit. Colour naming, right? Yeah. So we thought we'd get you involved in that.
Okay,
what do you think?
Exciting. Yes, please.
Yeah, excellent. We've got a new recruit. Well, so we have got some colours here.
We've got some colours here.
Here you go. So take a little look at these, and you're going to be drawn to some of these, I know, because we have picked out some faves.
These are unnamed colours.
These are
unnamed colours.
This is cool.
These are. So what we thought would be nice, if you pick one that you quite like the look of, so if you sort of that draws you to it, and then we have this wonderful process of naming colours. We call it alchemy.
Yes.
So basically you have a beautiful colour, but if it has a horrible name, people don't buy it because they like the colour, but they don't like the name. So you have to have this combination of a beautiful colour and a beautiful name.
I do quite like that.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
I like it. It's kind of bluey green. Is
it's
that fair
beautiful.
to say?
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Let's take that one out. So.
That is beautiful. So you've got
and it's unnamed. It's a blank canvas.
So for the listeners, Alex has picked up this absolutely gorgeous, quite pale emerald green. So this is a gorgeous emerald green. This is a real midnight forest kind of colour, or maybe that twilight forest sort of colour. So the process that we have the best names for colours have two words.
Okay.
One word takes you to the colour. So it could be the colour green. It could just be the name, green. And then the other word is how that makes you feel.
Yeah.
So if you think about our colour of the year, one of our colour of the years was called Tranquil Dawn. Oh. So you think about the dawn and this lovely misty sort of light over greenery. So this beautiful tranquil. And so tranquility gives you the way it makes you feel, and the dawn gives you the colour. Yeah. Bright skies. So sky gives us the colour, beautiful blue. Brightness gives you the sense that it makes you feel.
Freshness.
So we're going to put you on the spot. So have a think about this.
I feel it's
beautiful.
Peaceful is the word I'd say. Peace is almost like a forest peace kind of thing. I don't know.
That's it. Forest peace.
Forest peace.
Do you want a job?
Quite nice.
What do you think?
No, I just think it's like peaceful, and it's like a foresty green, isn't it?
Yeah,
really
peaceful
nice.
green, peaceful
green,
forest.
I think forest.
Honestly, that's the quickest ever.
We spend days over this.
Forest peace.
Yeah.
Come in the crew. They're all nodding their heads. We're happy with that.
Thumbs up.
Forest peace. So this colour, forest peace, we will take that back. I will write that down. Well, we've got it recorded, haven't we?
Yeah.
Gosh,
and so
hopefully.
Yeah. And so
it's a lovely colour. That's beautiful.
I'm going to send you a little sample of forest peace.
And we'd love to see it on your Instagram channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to paint a chair. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah,
we're going to paint a chair. Let's
forest peace. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
It.
So
thank you. I feel very privileged.
Well, there you go. Everyone at home.
That was the easiest ever. It normally takes, generally actually, when we're choosing names for colours, if we choose them before lunchtime and we're all a bit hungry, it's all about food. Always about food. And then if it's late at night and we're a bit tired, they're usually filthy and we can never use them.
Exactly. Just really inappropriate.
A few wines in it. Yeah. We can't use that.
Yeah, exactly that. So, excellent work on the colour naming. Very impressed. You can have a job any day. But we thought what we'd also do, because you've got a whole flat here that you need to decorate, and we're going to give you our top tips on how you can go and actually kind of start some colour scheming. So we know you like blues and greens. Excuse me for reaching over here. We have got a fabulous Dulux colour wheel here. We're going to give you a bit of a whistle-stop tour of the colour wheel. So here's our colour wheel, and we have a clean and bright side, and we have a bit of more of a muted atmospheric side is what we call it. Exactly the same in terms of how they work, but this side is just much more your kind of more muted and kind of sophisticated colours, and this is the in-your-face side that's, bright and fresh and vibrant.
Energetic,
works in exactly the same way though. So we know that you like blues and greens, right? So blue, one of your favourite shades. So if I kind of grab one of these blues here, you know, you can create a really simple colour scheme just using blues. And all you would need to do is kind of in your blue area, just use different shades of blue in order to kind of create a bit more of a kind of layered effect with blue. Look at me getting all doctor. Look, I've taken over your job. And then harmonising schemes, of course, Marianne, you would recommend blues and greens or blues and purples.
So harmonising is going along the same side.
They live next to each other. So they're like families, and they row every now and again, but generally not. They work in harmony with each other. So you can see all of these colours that you're already using in your flat and your wardrobe are working beautifully together. And then the exciting thing. So harmonious colours, so blues and greens will work beautifully in this flat with natural materials. Can I do the exciting bit?
You can do the exciting bit.
The exciting bit here is the colours that lie opposite. So here, lovely flame orange. Look at this. So the colours that lie opposite are the colours that look amazing. So if you want that little pop, just that little tiny pop of opposite, you just look up to the opposite.
And so the red sits opposite the green.
Yeah,
so that's
red,
why. So people
pinks.
use red, you use a little lighter green. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, or you've got predominant greens. You would use just a flash of red. Yeah. If you had red in the house, then green plants.
Yes.
So you don't need to put green on the walls. You just use it in plants.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
So it works really well.
Accessories, or if you've got a statement piece of furniture, perhaps in red. Because we talked about let's not go and paint entire rooms red because that is quite arresting. But if you had like something with a little shot of your contrasting, then it just brings a little bit more kind of life, doesn't it, into your scheme.
This colour wheel, Alex, is a kind of like it's like a colour stethoscope. It's just one of these. It's one of my favourite tools in colour because it's so ridiculously simple. It's like the rainbow all joined together, but it tells you what colours work with each other.
I think people will find that very helpful. A lot of the time when I think about it, it's quite hard to know, gosh, what colour, but that is very helpful to look. All right, if I do this, then maybe I can match it with a bit of this. Or I can have a flash of opposite. A lot of people don't even realise that.
And I think,
but why did you choose this lovely cushion? Because it seems to did you do that instinctively?
Well, I thought I did actually look at it and think, well, the greens are nice. I need something to give it a bit of something. Yeah. And so this cushion I thought was lovely, just had a bit of pop to it. But it was actually pure luck, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but it's instinctive, isn't it? You've got it. Yeah, you've got it in you. You've done that colour naming so brilliant.
Oh, well, there you go. Exactly. I think you're wasted in medicine. If you ever want to name it a colour, then you let us know.
Well, it is, I think certainly the colour matching is definitely important. But I think a lot of people find, including myself, do find it generally quite, particularly when it comes to painting your walls. For the reason that you say, it's quite a big thing to paint your wall. The natural thing you do is write everything white, but then you go, oh gosh, this
wish
is
I hadn't
white.
done that.
No, I know.
Yeah, exactly. But I think as long as you have that basic understanding, take one segment for a toning scheme, take a couple of segments of your wheel for a harmonising scheme, and if you're looking for something a bit more dynamic, go across. And this is a little bit more of a complicated colour wheel, but even just a 6-segment one, you've pretty much got the basics, haven't you?
Well,
so
very helpful.
So next time we come round, you're going to invite us round for a cup of tea, I'm sure.
It's all going to be...
no tea before... It has to be before 2:00 because of the caffeine. Decaf is fine. Then we're going to be expecting genius going on in here.
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. So we did pre-warn you about this segment of the show, but this is my favourite. She is here. My favourite part of the show, because this is where we answer the nation's decorating dilemmas. And Dr. Dulux here. She's come in her white coat ready, has her own stethoscope and everything. I'm sure it's just the same as yours.
Yeah.
In the blue. Totally on brand. And we are actually going to rope you in for some of answering the questions.
I'll do my very best.
You're fully qualified.
God knows there's any use. I'll do my best.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You will be just fine. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
For our first question?
Let's do it. Come on.
I'm ready.
Come on then. Come on then.
So I'm going to read this one out because I want to get it precisely right. So our first question is from one of our Dulux UK Instagram channel followers called Lucy, and she has a very brilliant question for you both.
Thank you, Lucy.
Are you ready? Yes, thank you, Lucy. Hi, Dr. Dulux. Or Dr. Dulux is. Can I pluralise that? I'm not sure.
Doctors
of Dulux. How about that?
I like that.
I've got a problem. I love pink and I really want to incorporate it into my living room, but my boyfriend is saying it's an absolute no from him.
Oh dear.
Because it's too girly and it wouldn't be relaxing. So I need your advice on how I can win him around. What other colours work with pink so I can convince him it is a good idea?
First of all, pink isn't girly.
It's not, is
It's
it?
not girly.
It doesn't have to
Everybody
be.
loves
It
pink.
doesn't have to be.
One of the things, I think, if you put a little grey into the pink and get a sort of more greyed pink, and then combine it, these really soft sort of plaster pinks are amazing. So they're less sweet. So I would say a less sweet pink would be great. And I would combine that with a green, because pink and green lie opposite each other.
I like pink as a colour.
Yeah.
Pink, I think it's probably more than when you have a very vibrant pink. It can be a bit much because it's quite, I don't know, but it's obviously a soft colour, but it can be very bright, I guess. Maybe like a softer pink is nice though. I like it with clothing and things, you know, like a little pink jumper, like a very light one is nice.
And it makes you feel good. It's a light red. And light red, you cannot even say the word pink without smiling, because it's just one of those really lovely, joyful colours. So I would balance the pink with greens. So get some plants in there, because that will balance the pink. Greens and greys, that will look absolutely gorgeous. So that would be my
I think it's like modern and cool, really, isn't it? It's quite a modern colour. Like in the field, in the bedroom, it's quite cool, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of always got a bad rap, hasn't it, pink? Because it has this kind of
brightness, like this really like vibrant.
Yeah, almost like kind of like a Barbie pink, or you know, pink for girls, but it doesn't have to be like that for sure. So I definitely think a greyed off pink would be lovely.
Can I ask the esteemed Dr. Alex, my colleague over here, about this relationship? You see, they obviously have a problem in their relationship in terms of making a decision about how would you solve, what kind of advice would you have for this couple in trying to resolve
well, I think
that
it's a lot about
issue.
compromise, isn't it? The point you said about, well, okay, what if you have the pink and the green? Is there a way we can find a compromise between the two? Or rather than going for very bright pink, can we go for the paler one? I think same with any in the hospital, the team working situation or whatever, you've got to think about different personalities, different kind of people, types of working, what people need, what people want. So sometimes it's addressing and talking about why. I mean, it sounds like saying, oh, it's girly, you know. I mean, let's break that down and think, why is it girly? Well, actually, pink isn't. It's a colour. It actually isn't like a boy colour or a girl colour. Colours are colours.
Yeah.
So kind of chatting about that might just get rid of that stigma from it and actually going, well, what about these options? You know, I think communicating can get through most things. If you kind of listen and hear another person's kind of point of view, you can get through most situations. Worst comes to worst, flip a coin. That's the other way of doing it, of course. Pink on one side, green on the other, whatever the other term. Flip a coin, wherever it lands, that's the choice made.
I completely agree.
Done. If you can't talk it through, flip a coin.
Excellent. I think you've passed that with flying colours. So are you ready for another one?
I see what you did there. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
You've used that
You know what?
before,
I didn't even think about that. I use puns all the time without realising. I'm so good. Okay, so again, we've got another question here. This time, again, it's for another one of our social media listeners, viewers, called Charmaine, and she is looking for some advice from you both. So I want to revamp my bedroom, and I'm looking for colours that are going to be calming and tranquil, because I work long hours and I always need time to wind down. But that doesn't mean that I want boring. I've also recently gotten into watercolour painting and I have a small desk area with some storage set up. I'm just lacking inspiration. Can you help? What do you think?
Yes, we
Sounds
can
like
help.
Forest Peace, doesn't it?
Always help.
Yeah,
she needs a bit of forest
That's what she
peace.
needs in her life.
I would make a suggestion that she combines two colours on the wall. So I would create a beautiful horizon line with maybe a deeper colour at the bottom to give ourselves this sense of sort of like, you know, grounding. So you're kind of like, you know, you're on the earth, and then a slightly paler version of the same colour above. So maybe the bottom third of the room in a deeper version of a green, beautiful forest piece, and then a slightly paler colour on top. And that would look gorgeous. So she could have a bit of zing, but not too much. So when she wakes up in the morning, she'll get that paler colour, and then when she comes back into the room, she'll get that nice gutsy grounding colour.
I do just think, I mean, I obviously the expert of colours here, but I think for me, I like to feel calm. Like when you wake up in the morning, I don't want to necessarily feel like overly, you want to wake up and, you know, find
Get
yourself.
into your day, yeah.
So I feel like green's a good colour for that. I think
it's a
matches
great
with the
colour for
blue,
a
like I
bedroom.
guess. I think something that just isn't too polarising. Maybe I don't know if that's the right word, but so it sounds lovely. Great suggestion there, I'd say.
There you go. We should keep her on for a few more episodes for sure.
Yeah, I'd guess so.
Yeah, well, but if she ever goes, Alex, you've got a job.
I think I would. No, I think I would. The standard would quickly fall. I'm afraid.
I'm sure that would be the case. But your help has been much appreciated here today. So hopefully Lucy and Charmaine have got both fantastic colour advice and also some advice on communication.
They should tag Dulux as well, so we can see what they actually follow through with it.
They will absolutely make sure that they do that, because I want to see this progress that they've made. So thank you so much for both of your help today. But I am afraid we've actually kind of come to the end of the show. It's been amazing kind
Yeah.
of talking to you, and thank
Enjoyed
you
it.
for all of your kind of wisdom and your tips on well-being. And it's been really fantastic to kind of hear how wonderful this partnership has been for you as much as it is for us, and we're super proud that
Well,
you
no,
are the
thank you for having me,
ambassador.
and I mean, congratulations on the bright sky. It's a beautiful colour, and thank you for having me on board with it. I'm very fortunate to have the bright sky on my walls here.
Now, Dr. Alice, we cannot let you go without, we always end the programme with this thing called Feel Good Colour.
Yeah.
And it's a little story or an anecdote about where you've seen a colour that's really made you happy. So have you got a Feel Good Colour moment that you could share with us and the listeners?
Well, I think I'm a big fan of cars. I love my cars, and I love Rossa Corsa red is the Ferrari red. And so when I see a beautiful red, particularly the old school classic Ferraris going past in the Rossa Corsa red, that makes me happy. And it's one of the few, because red is quite that kind of sometimes make people think of anger, I guess sometimes. But when I see that Rossa Corsa going past, that is a beautiful colour, and it really makes me smile. So yeah.
Just brings such joy, doesn't
Yes,
it? That
it does.
shot of red.
Yeah, the Ferrari red.
Amazing. There we go.
Brilliant.
So,
Dr. Alex,
Thank you so much. It does in fact bring us to the end of the show. So thank you again.
Yep.
We hope to be coming back soon for
Let's
that
get
tea.
painting. I've got to paint the whole place now, haven't I?
Exactly that.
I'm loaded inspirations. Time to go.
And let's get painting. But for more tips and more advice, the viewers and the listeners can of course go to the dulux.co.uk website or any of our social media channels. And we hope to see you there soon.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Alex.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.